I shall explain. Hi.
Okie dokie. So, this is a pair of calipers. They look like weapons when they're like this, actually. I wear these in my shoes, so I'll get a pair of shoes, that makes more sense. Okay, so this is them in the shoes, and this is them not in the shoes. But yeah, so they just slot into the shoes, and they help to correct the positioning of my legs as I walk, because my legs sort of curve out, and wearing these and having them strapped to just below my knee on both legs brings me back in. You may also have noticed that that they're not straight. They've got little bumps in them, and that's just to make sure that it doesn't rub on my ankle bone on either leg, and it's Velcro, and that's all there is to it.
We found a spider in the house. You freaked and you jumped up onto the couch. Since I was close and able, I jumped up on the coffee table. You said you should kill that. I said no, fuck that. You said come on, be a man. What? You're a total anti-sexist, a patriarchy fighter, but your whole worldview collapses the moment there's a spider. Cool, I get it, this is the real you. It's a pleasure, nice to meet you. Shit like this brings the movement down. Everyone's a feminist until there is a spider around.
Why do blind people wear sunglasses all the time? Actually, most of us don't. This trope gets really overused in media a lot to convey to a sighted audience that a character is blind, but it's actually quite rare to encounter a blind person in real life who wears sunglasses all the time. Even for those who do, it's usually for one of two reasons. The first reason is light sensitivity. Some blind people's eyes are extra sensitive to light, so being in brightly lit spaces can be physically painful. For most people, it's usually more triggered by natural light, so we'll mostly only wear the glasses outdoors. That's the camp I fall into, though I tend to forget my sunglasses pretty often. Some people also experience it even indoors under artificial light though. The second reason is looks. Especially for blind people who are earlier in the self-acceptance process, they might be really self-conscious about what their eyes look like. Especially if they have any noticeable characteristics like being clouded over, or moving uncontrollably, or being disfigured in some way. A lot of people do get more comfortable and move past that self-consciousness over time though.
All the pretty girls walk like this, 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 this. Pretty girls walk like this.
Come with me and see how I navigate London tubes as a wheelchair user. Now, I wouldn't particularly say that the tubes are an easy or efficient way to travel as a wheelchair user throughout London. However, I'm just going to show you the process, see what you think. The first thing to note is that there's lots of lift and often lots of navigating to do throughout the network. The ticket barriers do have a wider option for wheelchair users to use, and I just use my watch to pay at each station rather than an Oyster card because it's too much of a faff to get that in and out of my bag each time. There's lots of different routes among each station, so make sure you pay attention as to which area you need to be in. Otherwise, those shoulders are going to hurt. Now, the main thing to know is that you should always get on at the accessible boarding point, which is usually clearly signposted with the blue wheelchair sign. This is really important because even though you might be getting on where it's step free, if you go to a different station and you're in the wrong carriage, it might be a huge step to get off. So I'm just getting on the Elizabeth line here, which is pretty new and spacious and clean. And make sure to put your brakes on because these trains go fast. Now I've just got to get myself off and out of the station, which isn't always as easy as it seems. Make sure you're paying attention to the lift maps because these are often quite complex and confusing. Also, it's important to know that only 25% of stations are accessible for wheelchair users. I've left some more tips in the caption, so let me know what you think. Would you travel as a wheelchair user on the tube?
'Cause I'm just kidding. Anywhere else I'd be tame. Is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde fragility?
I'm going to do some catheter care and answer some of my most frequently asked questions about my suprapubic catheter. It is surgically placed. I get asked all the time, can I take it out? No, I cannot take it out. Doctors surgically change it every 2 months. Some people have it changed in a doctor's office, but I don't. Number 2, does it hurt? And the answer for me is yes. Unfortunately, it hurts quite a bit. Some people have no pain and other people have a lot. It's just a spectrum with everything. I have a specialty type of catheter, which is not the normal one, called a pigtail catheter. It's held into my bladder with a knot versus a balloon. I initially had a catheter with a balloon, but it ended up rubbing in my bladder, causing a lot of pain, and it ended up causing like a little gouge out of my bladder, which was not good. So we switched over to this other option, which works quite a lot better, and I have less pain with it too, which is great. Number 3, can I swim with it? And the answer for me is yes. Some doctors don't allow their patients to. Mine says it's totally safe as long as I have a cap on the end of my line so no water can get in. I swim with it quite frequently and have no problems with it. And last, number 5, I don't know why I get asked this all the time, but people ask me very frequently, how do I deal with my period? They are separate holes. It is not the same. I wear pads or a diaper for my period, just altogether different holes. But let me know if you guys have any other questions. I've had mine for almost 2 years now.
If you hold me tight, it's alright, let the fire ignite. I'm a party girl, and I'm just warning you. You don't get it, you just don't get it.
I brought back some takeout, so let's get down and pig out.
It's Shredder!
Where?
With starting medical school tomorrow, what accommodations do I have in place to succeed as a student in a wheelchair? Now, this is not a perfect list, and there's not many accommodations really in place because I can do a lot of things that everyone else can do. But a few things are, first, that when I am assessing patients either in a practice session or in a testing session, the bed is actually moved further out and we kind of indicate how far out so that I can roll around and not have to reach over, and I just have more access to assess the patient properly. Second is in the anatomy lab, which a few people asked about in the comments, was that my school is committed to having a lower table so that I can actually participate fully, along with making some adaptations to some safety elements in the room, such as the eye wash station and me being able to wash my hands. Now, one thing is we're figuring out how to cover my wheels because I'm gonna have gloves on and you want to not be touching things with your gloves, but for me to move around, I gotta touch my wheels. So we're looking at some options to cover those, which I can talk about more later on. Third, this is a combination I've had in my previous degree, is that in classrooms where I have a lecture hall, is that there is a height adjustable desk so that I can roll under it and just have the same access to be able to write my notes as everyone else. Lastly, like many places in Canada, my school is working on getting automatic buttons on doors. This is a slow process often, but it is nice that they're putting that in place. For me, if I don't have an automatic button on a door, it's not the biggest deal because I was able to learn this in Wheelchair Skills on how to open doors without buttons. But it is great because future students who are going to need that, hopefully it'll be in place. And yes, they're working on that one too. Again, I start medical school tomorrow and I do not fully know what to expect. I'm very excited and I can't wait to keep sharing what I learn along the way. And hopefully, if anyone else has a physical disability and is looking to apply to medical school, please do reach out to me. If you just want to know anything about the experience, my application process, because I really would like to share that and support other students because we need more of us there.
You have to stop telling people with chronic illnesses and disabilities that they're faking it if one day they need a mobility aid and the next day they don't. It's called dynamic disability. Look it up. We know our bodies best and know what we need to succeed and thrive.